Welcome to Atram Game Changers, the podcast that invites you to explore the exceptional minds of our time. Brought to you by Atram, the leading independent, digitally powered asset and wealth management firm in the Philippines.
Welcome to Atram Game Changers podcast, where we delve into the groundbreaking journey and innovations of visionaries that are reshaping our world today. I'm Sandra Araulio, Atram's Chief Investment Officer, and with me today is a pioneer who turned personal finance from a taboo topic into a national conversation. Please welcome the one and only Randall Tiongson.
Hello.
For over 3 decades, Randall Tiongson has been a leading voice in personal finance in the Philippines. With a career that spans banking, mutual funds, insurance, financial planning, and management consulting, he's earned his place as one of the country's most respected finance mentors. Beyond his work as a speaker and trainer, he also serves as a director of the Registered Financial Planner Institute of the Philippines and is a passionate advocate for financial literacy, especially among overseas Filipino workers. His commitment to education has brought him to audiences in over 15 countries, all driven by one mission: to make financial literacy a lasting national legacy. Randall, welcome to Game Changers.
Thank you for having me.
Dive right in.
Okay, go.
So, how long have you been doing this, really?
In the financial services industry, I think 36 years.
Wow.
Or 37, something like that. But siguro I got into formally in the speaking arena about 20 years na, more or less.
What was the catalyst? Was there something that you experienced for yourself?
I guess, it was a natural progression for me because I was in sales and training.
Okay.
In sales and training, you have to speak, you have to teach. But holding on to, gravitating towards personal finance and those things, I guess personally also for me, because I realized that with all the knowledge that I have in finance, my personal financial life is not that ideal.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized...
What phase in your life?
I think I was in my 30s.
30s,
yeah.
Okay. So you were kind of connecting what you were kind of preaching to your own circumstance?
It's very easy kasi, Sarah, to be honest, it's very easy to not to practice what you're preaching. So even if you know all of these things, but you don't apply it with conviction, you're just not gonna go anywhere. I guess I was in that point because I grew up in the financial world. So all of these things, training and everything, I have a job to do. So it was very easy for me. But my personal financial life is far from ideal. I went through bankruptcies. I went through a lot of difficulty. I got into a debt problem. So I think that catalyst, I remember I was looking at my young kids at that time.
Okay.
They're married now, but at that time, I said, is this the kind of future I want to give them? Or is this the legacy I want to give them? Because I know my parents were, very good in handling finances. So they were were a good role model. And yet, ako hindi. So I said, that's going to be a problem. And then I realized that around me, a lot of people, even in the financial world, a lot of them had less than ideal financial lives also. So, they spend more, they borrow too much.
Right.
Even those who talk about investing don't really invest that much.
Not themselves.
Yeah, so...
I guess at the time, financial literacy, as we know it today, didn't really exist yet.
There's not much information as well. So, example, I grew up in the financial services industry. So, yes, we talk about a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Even the whole concept of financial planning was not really something that it's in the mainstream. So, I remember the first book that I read was an American book pa. And there's not much information, even if I do research here. I remember, siguro, this dates me, no? Maybe early 2000, I attended a conference in Singapore.
Okay.
Then a lot of them were talking about financial planning, and yet the Filipinos were really unaware. So that was like a thing for me na okay, this should not be the case kasi no amount of financial understanding on products that you have will amount to anything if you don't know how to practice it properly.
So how did you what was the starting point?
Okay, the starting point was I just had to convince people to invest, to buy products.
Okay.
So I had to come up with those ideas. But then I realized, even if I convince people, but I don't really do follow through and study, it's not gonna amount into anything. So I had a boss who gifted me parang the history of the Financial Planners Association.
Really? Wow.
Like how they started in the 60s in the States. He gave me a book, and then I kind of read. That kind of piqued my interest. That's the first book I read. And then, the conference in Singapore, I kind of realized we're so far behind. And many other things. And exposed to some people. One of the first mentors that I had who encouraged me to do this was Rex Mendoza.
Okay.
2003.
Okay.
Wow. That's a long time ago.
2003. Before GFC pa nun. Oh.
Yeah, so wala pa, no? So I was talking to him. I was in his office. He said, Randall, this is something that you might want to maybe embrace, that whole financial advocacy. And I'll support you whatever I can. So kind of edged me towards that, because at that time he couldn't, no? Because he was had the corporate hat. Sabi niya, you're more independent than me, so go ahead. So he encouraged me, and that kind of started everything. I got exposed to more and more people I got to talk to. I started to write. I started to share ideas. This dates me, Yahoo groups was the first ones. So people I know with email, in same interest, we created
IRC? Hindi ba na? IRC
hindi na pa naman. Yahoo na naman. The Yahoo group. I started the Yahoo group. I remember called Financial Planners the Philippines. Something like that. Parang nobody was doing it. And then just, a few people got in, and kind of that group started to grow, and that kind of started a lot of these things. We will share an article, or then I started to write, kasi some of the articles are very American. Kasi very American.
Yeah.
So I started to write more, and then because at that time, siguro internet na the OFWs were starting to join those forums.
Okay.
And they were asking questions about, what can we do? We're here in Japan, or we're here in Dubai. What can we do? So that kind of started a little bit of these things. And I guess the rest was history.
Yeah. And interestingly, I think parang if I try to connect it with how the way we communicated evolved, no?
Yeah.
Before, it was a mailing list, maybe a group. Now it's like Viber group, or diba?
The internet made it easy. Siyempre, the evolution also kind of changed, no? So we started with Yahoo groups, and then I'm not sure if I did Friendster with that. I remember writing for Multiply.
Okay.
So I don't know, the guys here don't even know what Multiply is, no? So Multiply, and then Facebook started. I think 2009. I was one of the first ones to join Facebook. Then I started to migrate some of the material there. And then I had a friend, his name is Carlo Ople. So si Carlo Ople was big on the websites, big on the blog. Sabi niya, Randall, you have so much content that people need to read your stuff. So I went ahead and got your randalltiongson.com. Sabi ko, what will I do with that? I mean, I don't know blogging. No, just content. I'll teach you how to upload. Wala akong idea. And it took me a while to do that. Sabi niya, Randall, if you don't start uploading here, I'll put Dancing Monkeys in your website. No? So I kind of forced. But at the same time also, we got parang invitations to write initially for the Business Mirror. I think that was 2007 or 6 or 7. And then eventually, when it caught traction, Inquirer came in and, we would like you to do writing for us.
And as you were sharing all of these things, you were also able to address your personal...
So as I was trying to do that, at the same time, I was applying it on myself as well. So I think the big shift started. Siguro mga 2003, 2004, I was beginning to change. Little to that. And then the big switch was maybe 2007, 2008. Then that's when I realized, wait, I have to do something about this. At the time I was carrying a corporate hat, but I was also saying, hey, maybe I could do this, which led me to eventually giving up corporate so that I can do this on a more full time. But again, my personal financial story was in full swing already. It was reversing. I was beginning to manage my finances well. I started knocking off debt left and right. So.
And I guess it helped to be in the company of other Filipinos who are wanting the same kind
when
of
we started,
guidance?
when I started, I felt all alone. There was a story pa that I started in the Yahoo group, and then we started with some OFWs, and like we were four, the two of them passed away or something like that. So I had that parang, so I go, what can I do? Then I started to talk to people again. When I started to build it, I realized that a lot of people want to do it. There was just no catalyst to put us
Tabu
together.
nga eh. Or I guess di pinag-uusapan.
So meron kami isa-isa lang. But when we started to do this, we found each other. Efren Cruz was one of the first ones. Rex was the first. Then Efren Cruz, I got to talk to him. Chinkitan, I was talking to him. So we kind of started to have this kinship. Now we understand na, people don't listen to us. That's the thing, Sandra, is parang even if we speak, you will see that people don't listen to you. Very uninterested.
I was gonna ask, like, what were maybe the difficulties at the beginning? Money, when you talk about money, especially personal finance, the tendency is to be protective, obviously, is one. But the other thing is, the comfort level around talking about it. So, I'm really curious how you managed to bridge that.
And at that time, that was not in the main medias.
Exactly.
Meron sa US lang. But I think even back then, it wasn't as as in the main media now. No? So that was a story. Getting an audience was kind of challenging. So, but you do it patiently, you build it up. So
parang investing.
Actually.
Diba?
And that's why the Yahoo group started to grow and grow and grow and grow. And because all these changes in, social media started to come in, it just a natural gravitation towards.
How long did that take for it to gain enough momentum?
Okay, I started to do talks in 2005. I went full-time towards the end of 2008.
3 years.
I guess 2009, 2008, 2009 was like the start. One of the biggest change was when there was finally a show about it called ANC on the Money.
Okay.
And they reached out to me with the idea and asked me to do a little bit of consulting. So the whole production crew had no idea how these things run. So I had to do a crash course financial planning training for one day for them, for the producers, the writers, one of the original hosts. Wala pa si Salve. Then eventually Salve came in, and then we kind of worked together more and more. So at the onset, we have to guest more and more about that. So that kind of changed it. There was a magazine that started also called grabe no, like I'm a historian na, Money Sense.
Yes.
So Money Sense, and then it was a magazine. Print was still big back then, so they asked us to write, and those things were happening all at the same time. So when it started to gain traction already. So slow start, but the show, the magazine, we were already in newspaper at that time. We started to do seminars. People started attending our seminars and conferences. So that was within siguro a 2 or 3 year period that started to take ground.
Right. I guess there must have been also this conviction within yourself na kailangan talaga to eh.
I think it's very important that I had people who think like us. We were like, we had coffee and we were like so frustrated. I was talking to Efren, Fitz. Like, ano mangyayari? What can I do? Like, people are really but let's just say, no, we just decided, let's just do it. Even if you don't earn from it.
Stay the course.
Yeah. So I remember, si Efren sabi niya, you should write a book. Sabi ko, are you earning from the book? Hindi, but you should write a book. So those things were very, very important. The RFP, the Richard Financial Planner Institute, was also gaining ground.
Okay.
So that also, it was all happening more at the same time. So
all right.
That kind of pushed me to, wait, I have to give my corporate so I can do more of these things at the same time.
And from the time that there was nothing, financial literacy wasn't even a thing, wasn't a word, to today, everybody wants to, has a sense that it's something that they need to learn.
The evolution was kind of nice to watch. The videos started to come in. And so TikTok changed a lot of things. Those things are happening. But also at the same time, I'm a little bit concerned with how it's evolved. Kasi when we started this, of course, I don't want to sound like kami lang yung marunong and everything. No? We had Efren, Salve, Rex, then later on Marvin Guermon. We had some baseline understanding of finance.
Quality control.
Yeah, we were working for financial institutions. Or we had some certifications. We've taken a lot of training. So we had a little bit of the fundamentals at least. We all know how the markets work, basic understanding of economics. So you knew when the original set of people were like the forefathers. So when we were like, we knew what, basically had the basic knowledge of what we were doing.
Mm-mm.
And then syempre, sumikat din yan because everybody likes, the conferences started to come in. I started Icon, I think 2013. And then you were attracting like 1,000 people. So those things were happening. A lot of people started to jump into bandwagon. Yes, we were welcoming anybody to join the forum. Pero we kind of realized that noong una kasi, puro mga graduates pa ng RFP yan. But then later on, everybody came up with their own idea. They just read the book or attended a seminar, and then everybody wanted to be an expert.
Parang it took a life of its own na.
Everybody was like talking about something. And then it became less factual and more opinion. So ganyan nangyayari, no? Everybody had the... So those things were happening at the same time. And even up to now, that's a little bit concerned. The sad part that I'm seeing, there's the tendency, because the tendency to oversimplify finance or personal finance. Na parang ganyan lang, madali lang yan lahat. But that's so dangerous. Kasi we won't do it that way. I mean, that's why it's important that we talk about it, we write extensively, we understand fundamentals, and that the problem is, hindi, madali lang yan. You know, the problem is kasi everything's like a 15-second, 30-second thing.
Yeah.
You have to do everything.
Parang immediate gratification.
So nung nag-shift it towards more like, it had a life of its own.
Yeah.
So even the conferences that they start to come up, parang,
Yeah.
Then the crypto started, so that kind of...
Which is why I think now more than ever, you opened up the doors to, everybody being more aware, but at the same time, the ability to discern the kind of information. There's a lot
That's
of
That's the challenge
misinformation.
now. That's why shows, materials, and that's very important. Yeah.
Even products that are out there.
The products have changed also.
So,
very straightforward dati. No? Now it's not. So that kind of changed. And then the cool crypto thing kind of like complicated many things. Everybody equated it as the same thing. So those are the challenges now.
Yeah. I mean, it's very interesting to watch.
Yeah.
As you said na over time, the market is still the market. The basics are the same. But the players, the characters,
have changed. But it's kind of good thing, Sandra, because it's more retail now. It's like easier. Everything, it's easier now.
Yes.
But at the same time, there's more proliferation of scams.
Yeah.
Even not just scams, but bad ideas.
Mm-mm.
And the problem here, Sandra, is we're talking about the lives of people.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody who saved money and then lost money, parang that's a responsibility that should not be taken lightly.
Mm-mm.
So on that side, I'm kind of cautious. And also, if you don't notice, the ones who started this, we're getting old.
Mm-mm.
We don't have the same energy to come up with. I'm happy Rex can come up with videos, no, but I can't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even I've been cutting down on speaking engagements.
But there are ways to use technology to
so
diba?
A little bit of that. But also, I mean, we've been doing this for like 20, 25 years. So we want to see the next generation to do it.
So what do you think? So if you were to maybe assess where we're at today based on your interaction with your, audience?
Sige. There's more awareness, that's pretty clear.
Yes.
It's more mainstream now.
Okay.
But in terms of quality and in terms of reach, malayo pa din.
Mm-mm.
So, example before, if we were able to reach 0.001 of the population, maybe now it's 0.01.
Okay.
Or let's say 1.
Okay.
And that's still a lot. There's still a lot. I mean, the numbers, savings rates have not really improved. There's, like kayo, you have a lot of investors, but compared to 130 million.
Yes, exactly. So there's
the scale is so far off yet.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to see, is the scale to grow. I mean, more people, more OFWs investing, less dependence on on family members. Those
Yeah.
things are very critical for us. And when we see that improve, when we see that shift, when we see more Filipinos save, when we see them start investing, preparing for retirement, okay, then you know that it's being done. But at this point in time,
Kulang pa.
very, very far.
Oo.
Parang it's so far. There's improvement
Yeah.
kasi madali naman mag-improve eh.
Mm-mm.
'Di ba? But even if you triple, 10x the efforts, it's still very far from what we are needed.
And there are many moving parts, no? You have to address the literacy part, and then you have to address the access part, you know?
Yun pa.
How actionable is it for Filipinos to invest?
Yeah, example, Sandra. Okay, for as low as 100 pesos, I can invest in a fund that gets invested in a diversified fund in the market. 100 pesos.
Mm-mm.
Okay?
That's huge, though.
That's huge.
Oh.
Okay, that's great. That's good entry point. But if I'm a guy and I do it once or twice or 3 times in my life, that's not gonna amount into
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Even if I do it every month,
It's just
it's
one.
still not gonna amount
yeah.
into anything.
Yeah.
I have to, the lower entry point, that's good. But to make sense, I should be investing something like 1,000
Mhm.
or 2,000
Mhm.
and then scale it up over time.
As your earning capacity also
capacity
grows.
So, while you can start with 50 pesos or 100 pesos, that's not gonna amount into anything.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Diba? Even if I put 10,000 in a mutual
Ano lang
fund,
yun, actually,
that's nothing.
My sense is, you know, if you're a student and you want to learn, 100 pesos is some
The problem
it's a
now
way
we see
to,
is
ano,
people go into that, but it's never sustainable for them.
not followed through.
Okay,
on.
so yun yung nagiging problema. They don't do it for those things to work, it has to be on a month in, month out.
Discipline
But how
talaga.
many people do that?
Discipline
so,
talaga.
Yan yung
Oo.
side. So again, the work has to be done. I'm happy that what we have today are like our aspirations for us 20 years ago.
Mm-mm.
Like low entry point.
Yes.
Di ba? I would have thought that you just need the phone.
Yeah, yeah,
Di ba?
yeah.
I mean, just
I know.
the phone and I'm done. Di ba?
Yeah. Oh, dati, mag-fill out ka pa ng form.
Dami, everything's easy now. Di ba?
Oo.
So, would have thought that. But it's still not scaling the way it should.
Yeah.
So even if you look at so I was talking to institutions, so yeah, it's there, but it's very far from there's no volume.
Mm-mm.
No volume.
There's still a lot of work to be done. I think is what
Kasi,
you're saying.
diba? I mean, let's say online investing, how many? Let's say 1 million accounts. But how many of them are really active or adding on to it?
So, what do you think is the hurdle now, today?
The sad part, it's still cultural. It's still the way we were raised up. It still goes back to financial planning, finance not being part of basic education. The family plays a big role. And again, we're still in the point that, okay, I don't have to prepare anyway. My children's gonna take care of me. We're still in that point.
Mm-mm.
That's the hurdle. That's the main part. Culture is a problem. Yes, I'd like to believe kasi, di ba, in the Philippines, there's not much incentive to invest, to save.
Mm-mm.
Parang penalized ka pa nga minsan because of taxes and everything.
Mm-mm.
So, those are problems.
Mm-mm.
But again, it's the culture, it's the behavior, it's the understanding. And of course, the poverty is still a big problem. I mean, when the rich people invest, that's not really gonna make anything, di ba?
Mm-mm.
But everybody need to be able to save and invest. Everybody. We're not talking about, everybody.
Yeah, yeah. That is a long game.
It's a long game.
Long
It's
game.
a very long game. Happy that there's, now to think of it, napaisip din ako talaga, Sandra, no? Okay, in the last 20 years, should I be happy with our progress?
Come on, I think so. I mean,
There is progress, but I think the progress should have been faster and better.
but then again, there are many things that aren't in our control. What's happening in the world, everything, all of these changes, ganun talaga eh.
But when I go around the country, when I see a lot of people lose money on scams
Yeah.
or online casinos.
Yeah, I agree.
There was a time online sabong. So,
Mm-mm.
when you see all of that, and when you're exposed to all of that, that's the sad part. And
yeah, I agree with
and
you
that's why,
there.
what I'm saying is, yes, there is progress. Yes, it's bigger than when I started in, I don't know when that was, 2005.
Yeah.
So, ano ngayon? 30 years na pala yun.
Pero nanganak ng ibang
20 years na
problema.
pala. 20
Nanganak
years.
ng ibang challenge.
So, those are issues. But today, people are more into debt now. It's not improving. That ugly side of finance. It's still gaining ground. People still spend more than what they should. So, ganun pa din.
Yeah. So, there is work to be done.
People are still not preparing for retirement.
Yes,
Diba?
but I think awareness is, as long as the people who have the same advocacy as you do.
I think this is where now it's
grown.
important when you see younger people doing it. It's really, it's see TikTok, how they do it in TikTok. That's very, very important. I've seen some guys who I don't personally know, but I'm amazed at what they do. And I'm really happy. I want to cheer them on. And yet I see some people who are not doing it right. So that's the ugly side.
Yeah.
So again, like anything else, we have to be able to see. We have to see more of that. So see more awareness. Yung institutions to be able to partner with them. That's one of the things that I guess I was able to do many years ago is to partner with institutions. Not to look at them as it has to be a partnership. It has to be done right. Kasi syempre for institutions, they just want revenues and sales. But I had to convince them to embrace advocacy, financial planning, and a few that I was able to convince, I'm kind of happy that they got into it. You're one of them.
It's really nation building.
It has to be part.
It's really...
and it makes sense. Because if you keep on doing this, then, it's gonna catch up.
What would you like to see in your lifetime? Yung realistic.
Okay, realistic, no? Number one, siguro, here's the echo na in me. I want to see savings markedly increase. Our savings rate are still... I was looking at the numbers. Walang nangyayari. So, savings rate to increase, I want to see that. I want to see more Filipinos prepare for retirement. At least. I think the last number I saw was 8% of Filipinos prepare for retirement. Let's just double it, realistically, at 15. Very doable. Okay, at least during my lifetime. I don't have much years left. So that's doable. People more investing. Now with the phone, you can do more of that.
Access
is easier. So we have to see that. And siguro for the OFW, since they're really part of what I do, I want them to come home earlier, prepared. I want them to consider the Philippines as their home sooner than later. When, coming home, na meron pa silang... Coming home, I always say them, I want them to come home early so that they can contribute to nation building. Not when they're too old, too tired, too sick. So that's one. And siguro the other part, parang dami kong wishlist, no? to really help the Philippines in terms of bring about the change that we need. So, daming problems natin.
Yeah. But I think on the bright side, I think we are well on our way.
Yeah.
There are pockets of, like ourselves, trying to go towards that direction. Make use of the tools that are available to us. Try to reach a wide audience. Myself, I'm in the, really in the thick of portfolio management, investment management. But parang more and more, I'm finding myself kind of trying to connect to the clients that we serve at the personal level.
We have to scale up in... It can be done, So, banks have been doing it. But to do it in a more personal finance responsibly, we just have to scale it in a faster pace. So more people should be involved, more advocates. Those things are very important now.
So let's say I'm just, hearing you for the first time. Why? Why is it so important? Why should I invest? YOLO.
Now it's easy for me to say.
What do you say?
Number one, everybody will get old. Everybody will get sick. Everybody get tired. And so you come to that point. And the problem that we're experiencing right now in the Philippines is the high dependence on family members. If I am going to depend on my children, I'm gonna my children will have to sacrifice so much more that it will affect their own children. So every time I get money from my children, I'm actually getting money from my grandchildren. So there's no legacy building. There's no those things. It becomes a challenge. So, when you go around, I see around, because I'm also part of some groups that help around. Education is still a problem. Bakit? Even if bigyan mo ng scholarship, walang pangbaon. Kasi, there's sometimes the scholarship that they get, the money, the stipend, kukunin pa ng magulang kasi kulang ang pera. So those things are still prevalent. So that has to change. We have to make sure that we provide for our children so that our children can provide for their own children. Without financial literacy, without embracing all of these things, we cannot do that.
Yeah.
So it's a super long game, but that's where it has to change.
So, what's your final challenge to our listeners who are ready to run their own race towards smarter money choices? What are the low-hanging fruit?
I think number one, so basic. Please spend less than what you make. Please. Okay? I mean, it's good. It's good to enjoy money. It's good to travel and those things. But
delayed gratification.
something as simple as mag-budget lang kayo. Pag-budget lang yan, save. Save as 10% of your income.
Invest.
Then it becomes save and then invest. And then start with 10, then make it 12, then make it 15, until you got so comfortable that it's like 25 to 30. Then you're set for life. So those are as basic as you get. You don't have to do complicated investing. Simplify. There's a lot of funds there. Ngayon, dami na. I'm happy with some funds, no? We're seeing right now. There's a lot of those things. I don't even have to understand the stock market for me to invest. I mean, basic knowledge, yes, but I can, and so forth and so on. So those things are very important. Start with something that you can change. Okay, practice delayed gratification. Of course, I'm realistic. I'm not telling you to travel 10 years from now, diba? So, but just do a little bit of that, a little bit of there.
Prudence.
Yeah. Okay. If you're a parent, don't expect your children to finance your lifestyle. If you're a child, please stop asking money from your parents when you're ready. I mean, as basic, as simple as those things. Common sense actually lahat.
Discipline lang talaga rin no?
And a decision. Because if I did not decide back then, I don't think we'll be having this conversation now.
Yeah. I think what young people, mga young people ako, what young people have really in abundance is time, which I think tends to be undervalued or underappreciated. So we might not have, your fresh graduate, first job, the income you're making might not be big yet.
Yeah.
Pero
but
over time,
that's one of my biggest regret. If I started saving and investing in my 20s, that would have, because I never had a problem with income. I've always had good income.
Yeah, Henry yung tawag dun.
Yeah.
High earner, no asset or yet or something.
Yun, so,
yeah.
We all learn, but had I started that early on. So imagine when I worked, my first job was 1988. Can you just imagine if I started to invest in 1988? Okay? Something as simple, Jollibee na lang. I kept on buying that for the first 5 years of my working, or the first 10 years. May Jollibee na ba nun? I know, PLDT, sige, PLDT. I mean, those things, those companies. And just imagine, or just started saving, or even buy I remember when I was I was earning so much, I could have bought a studio unit in Makati in my late 20s.
You're talking about 80s, no? So
90s naman, 90s.
Or early 90s. That means it would have gone through different financial crises, and even then, today, you would still be in
so that's my biggest regret. So time is very important. We have to value that. So I'm nearing my senior years na. So I'm happy that that's a good thing, Sandra. And I want to encourage people. Even if you start late, you can catch up. You just have to make that decision. I was later than I should have, but still, I was able to do it in a way that I live a more comfortable life now. But had I done it earlier, but again, parang
Well, that's what we want to teach people. Yung what we learn from our own experiences.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Yeah, even in making mistakes in investments can be a good thing because you learn.
Yeah.
So okay lang yan. Don't. Kasi ngayon it's hard. Oh, my money is not making. My investors are not making money. So
kailan ka ba naglagay ng pera last month?
keep it calming lang. Just do it.
Yeah.
Something as boring as, and I remember many years ago I got into so much debate na, Randall, why are you telling people to do cost average? That's like the worst thing to do. But if you have like a 10-15 year horizon, that would have been the best thing to do. But
it's the best thing to do.
Nako, grabe. Yeah.
Sabi nga ni Einstein, diba? Time or compounding, time value, compounding is like the eighth wonder of the world.
But one of the things that if you do it properly, it's nice to have options in life.
Mm-mm.
It's nice to have choices. I've met people who decided, I'm going to retire at 50. And they were able to do that. My friend Marvin, he said, at I think 40 something was his target. And he's doing it now. Mm-hmm. So those things are possible if you do it properly and decide.
So
stick to it.
Just make the decision, and then there are many resources and many people who kind of want to
and that's the beauty now out. So that you can go out and help people.
Yes.
You can make a difference in the lives of other people.
Mm-mm.
If you're financially responsible, go to a coworker, encourage him or her, partner with him, teach him.
Mm-mm.
That's the way it should be done. Diba? I mean, start small groups, start accountability partners with them, and then you will see this will happen sooner than later.
Yeah.
You don't have to listen to us, watch a video, attend a conference. You can do it on your own.
Yeah. In ways that resonate. Parang exercise lang yan di ba?
If you apply the concept of paluwagan, you apply it in savings and investing, and you have a group to do it, that's gonna work.
How do you mean? Di
ba in offices? So one of the things that I realized when I was working, the concept of paluwagan.
Okay.
It's usually just a small group of people in the department or with the floor. So everybody contributes so that at the end of the year, they get something, di ba?
Okay.
In the middle of the year,
co-op.
Pero paluwagan yan. It's a Pinoy corporate's mainstay. I don't know if how, but I know they still do that.
Okay.
No? So it's the same principle. You apply it in a savings group, an investing group. So she'll realize that there's so many things that you can do.
Right.
Contextualize it, apply it to your situation, and that's gonna work.
Parang I guess yung mga bumibili ng lottery tickets na pinupuno.
Yeah. Ito, baliktarin natin na ganito sa ganito. Okay, let's talk about those things. I've seen that happen in OFWs abroad.
Right.
They were pooling, and then they were eventually, although sometimes it's a problem, like some of them contribute to buy a property. It gets messy sometimes, but at least they're doing something about it.
Right. So yeah, I mean, many ways to skin a cat. I think my takeaway is, I think really one has to make a decision to act.
Yep. Today.
Should have been yesterday, but the next best thing is to do it today.
If there's something you can learn from me, it's you can catch up. Catch up. Never too late to start.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. Like every peso you invest is a step towards a stronger you and a stronger Philippines. It's part of nation building. We've reached the end of our Atram Game Changers podcast episode. Thank you again, Randall, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
And sharing your invaluable insights and experiences in the world of investing and personal finance. I really enjoyed our chat. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to share it with your friends and colleagues. You can find Atram Game Changers podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'll see you again soon with more insights from game-changing leaders. Thank you and see you in the next episode.